The first Republican debate is quickly approaching. This week, another candidate met the RNC's polling and fundraising thresholds. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. He sparked a heated ethical debate when he offered $20 gift cards to anyone who donated at least $1 to his campaign. In order to meet the party's requirement, the candidates get 40,000 unique donors. Governor Burgum joins us now from Iowa. Great to see you, Governor.
Great to be with you, Shannon.
Okay, so there's been this ethical debate. Most people think it's fine. I know that you've said instead of paying a political consultant, you decided this was a good way to invest the money. But The Independent has this report. It says Biden supporters exploit Republicans' $1 donation cashback campaign pledge. One on Twitter wrote, I gave Doug Burgum $1 so he would send me 20. Then I gave the $20 to Joe Biden, and he attached the photos of his donation. Did you foresee that might happen?
I just think the whole thing is humorous. These are clubhouse rules designed to keep fresh faces, fresh ideas, entrepreneurs and innovators off the stage, because you set a limit like this, and of course it favors people who've held national office. It favors people who've been, pundits on TV. It favors people that have been career politicians in their name recognition. And I'm an innovator, an entrepreneur. I grew up in a small town in North Dakota, literally bet the farm to start a software company. If you're starting an online retail company today, if you're a young person, the first thing you do when you're going online is you offer a promotional thing. And of course, we did this. The $20 gift card, these consulting firms wanted $100 per customer acquisition. This is 1/5 the cost. And this is what we've done in North Dakota, is use creativity and innovation, solve a problem, do it for 1/5 the price that a political party or the government might do it. And we're thrilled to have an opportunity to bring our message about the economy, energy, national security to the national debate stage.
And I want to try to get to as many of those topics as we can, but let me start with this. You endorsed President Trump in 2016 and 2020, so why the need to run against him this time?
Well, I believe that we need to focus on the things that matter the most to most Americans, and that is the economy. This is about running against Joe Biden. I mean, we don't just need course corrections on the economy, energy, national security. We need a 180-degree turn, because on the economy, whether it's inflation, taxes, spending, deficit, trade, all in the wrong direction. On energy policy, we should be selling energy to our friends and allies instead of buying it from our adversaries. And on national security, that starts with border security. And right now, we've got an open border. I've been down there with the National Guard troops from North Dakota, and it's completely unreported what's going on down there. And all of these things are affecting every American.
Yeah, and part of that, it ties together with fentanyl. So I want to talk about that in the context of China. You've said that we are at a Cold War, essentially, with them, but a lot of American business leaders are willing, apparently, to put up with a lot, look the other way. They've gone over there for very cozy meetings with Chinese leaders, Elon Musk, Tim Cook, Jamie Dimon, among those. We know that our economies are intertwined. Secretary Yellen has said you can't decouple. So how do you address the issues?
Well, we are in a Cold War with China by all definition, but it is very different. When Ronald Reagan was leading this country and we were in a Cold War with Russia, Russia had a small economy. They weren't very connected, and we were able to just outperform them with our economy, and with our strong economy, we were able to have a strong military. We need to do the same thing now in our Cold War with China. We've got to get our economy sprinting. It's crawling right now, and part of the reason it's crawling is this incredible red tape. I've seen the red tape as an entrepreneur, as a small business person. I've seen it running large global businesses, and now I've definitely seen it as a governor, where the federal government is always outside of its lane. It's always bigfooting the states and businesses with regulation. And the way America has always won is with innovation. And if we drive that forward, we get this economy going. But China is the #2 economy in the world. They're completely interconnected. We've got to be much smarter about how we manage this. And I'll give you one horrible example, but Putin likely doesn't even invade Ukraine if not for having all of Western Europe dependent on his energy. Well, then belatedly, the Biden administration says we're going to put sanctions on Russian oil, and that takes some Russian oil out of our markets. But Russia's selling oil 20 to 30% off to who? To China. China, the world's largest importer of oil and gas in the world, and we're over there with Blinken, Yellen, Kerry, and nobody's even talking about how we can use energy policy as a lever in our relationship in the Cold War with China.
You mentioned Russia, and obviously all of those interconnected, very complex foreign policy problems. What do you consider defeat of Russia, victory for Ukraine? Where do you see the line starting and stopping for U.S. aid continuing to flow there to Ukraine?
Well, we have to have accountability across government. It doesn't matter whether it's domestic or military or wherever the spending is. We've got to have more transparency and accountability, and that's what we've done in North Dakota. I mean, we've cut budgets in North Dakota. We've balanced the budget. We've got our economy rolling there. We're on track to have the highest GDP in the nation. But when we're talking about Russia, we can't have a win for Putin. We can't even think about it like a country the way we think about ourselves. It's a series basically of mob bosses. They have a fancy name, oligarchs, but what's Putin worth? $70 billion? I mean, we can't. They've amassed all this worth in Prigozhin and what the Wagner Group was doing. We now know these guys have got 64 shell companies. They're controlling gold mines in the Central African Republic. When they helped, quote, help Syria, they took over 25% of Syria's oil production. These are large international criminal organizations, and a win for Putin, as I said, is, again, Putin and China have had 40 meetings over the last 10 years. We're just pushing these folks together, and now with Putin becoming China's gas station, it's just exacerbating our biggest challenge, which is the Cold War we have with China and our competition with China.
Okay, I want to make sure we hit on domestic issues as well. You signed one of the toughest abortion laws in the country, but you've said you wouldn't sign a federal ban. You think that presidents need to stay out of cultural issues. Susan B. Anthony, a big pro-life group, says this about GOP candidates who won't commit to some kind of federal ban. Says saying that the issue should only be decided at the states is an endorsement of abortion up until the moment of birth, even brutal late-term abortions in states like California, Illinois, New York, and New Jersey. We will oppose any presidential candidate who refuses to embrace at a minimum a 15-week national standard. Is it a cop-out to now say, with the really interesting and some people would say aggressive culture war issues that you've had in North Dakota that you've signed off on, that now that you're in a national race, you shouldn't have to talk about that?
No, it's amazing. We've spent 50 years, the pro-life movement, fighting to have Roe v. Wade overturned so that the decision could return to the states. And about 24 hours later, the same people say, no, now it's been turned over to the states. Now we got to have the feds back involved again. I'm a 10th Amendment guy. Read the 10th Amendment. There's a very specific set of things that the federal government is supposed to do, and the rest is reserved to the states, or to the people, and importantly to the people, because so much of this culture war is it's one group trying to stamp their set of rules on another group, and we have to just say, hey, look, what's going to fly in New York is not going to fly in North Dakota. We know that. And so as president, we've got to focus on the things that matter, and things like national security, which includes border security. And certainly as president, I will be focusing on the things that are actually part of the job description of running the federal government, return the power to the states, shrink the size of government, and then some of these other issues are going to have to be debated at the state and local level.
Yeah, and I would note that there are people who do read the Supreme Court decision to include that the federal legislature could be involved, but we know your position, and we will see you on the debate stage, Governor. We thank you for your time.
Great, Shannon. Thanks to be on. Great to be on with you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.